So I'm sitting here trying to map out a year's worth of activity for not only just myself, but a handful of clients, and trying to work out a way to make it simpler. And it's too easy for us to just dive in deep and make things look a lot complicated, make things look more fancy, more sexy, and therefore potentially worth more for someone to buy. And then really it's just dawned on me, it's not that at all. It's about us as individuals just taking responsibility. Jocko calls it extreme ownership. You know, the dichotomy of leadership and all these different types of terms, and realistically it comes down to one thing. It's your personal agency. Now, I've posted about this a little bit before, and to that end, from here on in, we're just going to start to talk about that there. It's simple. It's not fancy. It's not fucking complicated. It's about you and I and the people around us just deciding that if we want to do something about it, the responsibility, the buck, it stops with us. So when it comes to personal agency, what am I particularly talking about? Well, I've got some notes down here and I'm going to read them. There are 6 things. One is the physical preparedness. Yep, that's the gym stuff, the working out stuff. But for you, it may not be that. It might just be simply you need to get up off your ass and consistently walk every day. If you've got dogs, you've got no reason why you shouldn't be doing that. And if it's not dogs and it's not the gym stuff, then maybe it's a simple 10-minute walk after breakfast, lunch and dinner. But it's a way for you and I to simply get physically prepared for what life is going to throw at us. Now, why is that important? Because as we get older, you young guns, the 20 and the 30 something who are all posting sexy selfies in barely their G-bangers or scrunchy bum with wedgies, or running around with a 6-pack with your flippin' man sock. It's not really for you. The time will come you will wake up too and find out that that physical preparedness is not just about looking good or looking good naked. It's about the ability to just get up every fucking day, hit the day, hit it hard, do the same thing, carry on, repeat, sleep, and keep going. 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and not become the person that needs a walker, that needs a hand to get up out the chair, or God forbid, needs someone to help you simply bend over and wipe your ass. Step number 2, I've just said it, I've called it the food thing. It's, optimizing nutrition, eating for you. It's not a particular diet. It's not a certain way. It's not a vegan versus a pescatarian versus a meat eater versus whatever. It's none of that shit. It's about you, and maybe with me, finding out what works for you. Simple as that. What food upsets your gut? What food, quite literally, gives you the shits? What food gives you energy? What food do you eat that when you eat it, about an hour later, it's just like, it's sitting like a brick in your gut and it makes you feel like shit? So optimizing the nutrition. And within that, we'll talk about water, we'll talk about protein being forward and those types of things, because for me, they are other things too. Rest and recovery, hiccups aside. That's it. Getting the adequate amount, the optimal amount, as they say, of rest and recovery. That is sleep, 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours. Some get away with 3 or 4, God knows how. But finding out what is your optimum level of recovery. Does that mean that you take an afternoon siesta? So be it. 10, 20 minutes, 5-minute power naps. They work. If you haven't tried them, please give them a go. You'd be surprised how much they help you. And within that, it might be some meditation, mindfulness, some people call it. But pretty much that's it. They're simple. It's rest and recovery. And back to the first thing, the physical preparedness. If I'm bashing up my body, then I also need to recover. In step number 2, we talked about the food thing. If I'm eating like an asshole for the weekend, I still need time to let my body recover. Number 4, mindset mastery, growth mindset, whatever it is, but the ability for you and I to simply see things in a way that are positive, not to let us get down. Growth mindset, people talk about that. So I've already started because I think that's probably one of the most important things. I'm going to put out 30 videos to represent a month's worth. I'm not going to do them all right now. I'll just do them one at a time. And there'll be a 30-day video series on the stuff that I have read about, the stuff that I've learned about, the stuff that I've implemented, particularly going back to the consulting days, about what it means to have a growth mindset. Number 5, embracing stewardship. This is missing. And I'm doing this because of one thing. I'm doing this as no disrespect to young girls, but young boys don't have fucking good role models. There are certain individuals out there who have come and gone and who are in Romania and whatever else that's going to be. They are not fucking role models for young men. They're not role models that show them what it means to be a young man. Courteous. Not fall over and laugh and giggle at the sign of the first girl in her skirt that shows him that she's interested. And to that end, I'm going to say this quite candidly, to show that a young man in his teenage years does not have to be pressured by the skank who lives next door, who's quite happily pretending to be an OnlyFans model at the age of 16 and 17 and walking around like a $2 hooker. Parents of young girls, apologies if this offends you, but I've got a daughter. She was never like that. If my daughter was like that, I'd want to fucking lock her up. Because no, it's not empowering in any way, shape or form for them to do that. Shit's going to come back and bite later in life. And the final thing is communications. Honing the skills to be able to communicate, to be able to articulate, to stop the ums, the ahs, the ums, the yes, the the what, aha. But just to simply communicate. Something I'm still learning. To speak, but to speak as if it is you. Not speak like someone else, not do a 50-minute monologue where you've copied Huberman Labs, Sean Whalen, or any one of those types of guys, but speak it's you. If that involves some colourful language, French, swearing, whatever you call it, then, as I say, fucking well, so be it. But communicate as if it is you. Communicate as if you know what the hell that you are talking about. And communicate it in a way that no matter when you speak to a person, they know exactly where you're coming from, they know exactly what you're saying, they know exactly what you know and where your position is on something in life. They may not agree with you, you may not agree with them, that's fine. But part of all of this is about going back to basics and taking responsibility for yourself and your personal agency. Stay tuned.